Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanora Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Ayo. We are now doing the 18th chapter of Ashtavakra Gita. It is one of the biggest chapter in this text. And here the sage Ashtavakra talks about the nature of the Jivan Mukta, or the one who has realized how does he behave, or how does he act, or how does he perceive the world, and what's his state of mind also. So in the very first sloka introduces in that. So the one who has recognized Yasya Bodhodaya Stavatu Swapnavat Bhavati Brahmaha Tasmai Sukhai Karopaya Namaha Shantaya Tejase. So here we are prostrating to a realized master, because he is essentially a living God, or God which can be personified, because he understood the absolute truth. It's not just an understanding, but understanding involves realization that I am Brahmasmi. That means Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. That's what the scripture says. Knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. It's not like knowledge. It is I am that Brahman. That is the knower of Brahman. So he understood and recognizes and establishes himself as Aham Brahmasmi. So when he is Brahman, there is no more creation. So if he sees a creation, it's only apparent, because Brahman, being infinite, cannot create, and there cannot be any creation outside Brahman, because Brahman means infinite. And if the creation is outside the Brahman, and Lord is sitting in the somewhere heaven, and creation is somewhere else, so it cannot be that. So in according to Vedanta, if at all there is a creator, he cannot be outside the creation, and he cannot be inside the creation also. He cannot be outside the creation, because outside also has to be created. So therefore even the outside becomes an inside creation. The second aspect is he cannot be inside the creation, because he will be limited by the creation, and therefore he cannot create that which is beyond him. So obviously he can neither be inside the creation nor outside the creation, and the only choice is he and the creation are one and the same. And that's essentially Vedanta says, Taraikshada Bausyam Praja Etim. So what was there before is the Sadeva Saumya Idamagramasid Ekameva Advitiyam. That existence alone was there before creation. Idam Agra. Idam means the whole creation. Agra, before this creation came, what was there before is only existence. Then what happened to the existence? Shankara says, we watch the world. He says, before the creation, existence alone was there. So after the creation, existence itself expresses into many. And that's what the scripture says. Tadaikshata. Tadaikshata means it saw. If it's only one thing and without anything else, what can it see? There is nothing to see. Then it means it's self-conscious entity. Seeing involves a conscious entity, and not only that, Tadaikshata means it saw itself. That means it became self-conscious. When you become self-conscious, you feel you like to do something. So that's what he did. So Tadaikshata Bausyam. Say, I am only one. Let me become many. So Bausyam Praja Eti. So he himself became many. So that means one became many. So becoming many is infinite cannot become many, because infinite cannot undergo a transformation, but transformation is also modification. Only finite things can get modified, infinite has to remain only infinite. So if there is a creation, the creation cannot be real, but it can only be apparent. An apparent creation, but taken as real, is a different problem. Apparent creation is only apparent provided one understood that it is apparent, otherwise you get lost. Here it says in the very first sloka, it says whole universe is only swapnavatu bhavati. It's only like a dream. So when I'm going after scrumptious, delicious dinner and an air-conditioned room, I'm lying down, I'm going to sleep, and everything is turned dark because I can't sleep when the light is there. All calm, quiet, no one else there. Then I slowly enter into the dream state, and in that state I am creating the whole universe in my dream, and after creation, as though I am entering into the dream as a subject into the dream, forgetting that I am the one who is a creator of the dream also. So when I enter into the dream, then I see the dream world. So as a dream subject, I take myself as a real, and the dream world is different from me, even though it is the mental projection. Whose mental projection? It is the mind of the waker that is projecting, and a dream that projecting, including a dream subject, and including a dream subject has his own mind, his own intellect, which is different from the other subjects in the dream who have their own minds. So all the minds, including their bodies, including the whole creation, is coming from only one mind, that is the waker's mind. Same way, the whole creation coming from one mind, that is the Ishvara's mind. In that there is a creation of different jivas whose minds are different, whose bodies appear to be different, and they are facing the world which is different from them. Same way, in the dream creation, there is a dream creation, and the world is there, as well as the different subjects in my own dream, and each subject or each living entity has its own body, mind, intellect, which is different from other bodies and minds and intellects in the dream. And when I'm looking at the dream, suppose there is a tiger chasing, or there are people watching, all are considered as different, and each one has their own minds. So the Mandukya Upanishad says, Ekona Vimshati Mukhaha. Same statement, a parallel statement is done for both the waking state and the dream state. Ekona Vimshati Mukhaha means Ekona Vimshati, 1 less than 20. 1 less than 20 means there are 20 gateways in which you are interacting with the world. That is Panchabhutas, then the sense organs, Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, and therefore it is a 15, 15, 15, and 4 Antakaranam, mind, intellect, and the Chitta, and the ego, Ahankara. So these 4 together becomes 19, and 19 are the gateways in which you are interacting with the world. So whether in the waking state or in the dream state, the subject has these 19 gateways as per Vedanta. That means it is as though somewhat parallel to the dream, the waking world, but the dreamer doesn't know the waking world. And when he gets up from the dream and enters back into the waking world, folding all that, he becomes again a waker and looking back of the dream world, hey, that was not real. Who says that? Not the dreamer. Dreamer, a whale in dream, he thinks it's not a dream, it's a real world. Where waker feels, but waking world is real, but the dream world is not real. But here it says, even the waking world is swapnavato. It's like a dream when you realize Aham Brahmasmi. Only difference between the waking state and the dream state is I cannot recognize that I am in the dream state. I cannot recognize the dream as a dream unless I am awakened to the waking state. That means a dreamer cannot know the invalidity or the temporariness of the dream world. He thinks that is real, and he cannot have a discriminative intellect in the dream to discriminate what is real and what is not real. That viveka is not there. only in the waking state I can develop, while remaining in the waking state, that what I am seeing is not really real. I don't have to go to some other state in order to look back and say, oh, that was not real. Even while being in the waking state, I can develop a viveka, where a discriminative intellect to know what is real and what's not real. And that viveka has to be developed in order to recognize the invalidity of, or the temporariness, or the unreality or temporary reality or vyavaharika aspect of it, and that of the waking state can only be recognized once I develop that the viveka. So viveka, that means a discriminative intellect, can be developed, and using the discriminative intellect, it is the intellect I had to use it to discriminate that the world that I am seeing is not really real. Then what is real? Real is aham brahmasmi. I am pure existent consciousness which is limitless and therefore which is Brahman also. That Vedanta tells you that this world is not real, it's only apparent, and the reality behind the apparent is you yourself. Therefore, you look back after realization that the world is only like a dream. So once who has recognized he is essentially the Brahman himself appearing in this world as a jiva, and to him I am prostrating because he can be a teacher to teach others who are still confused. So he is a Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwaraha. So he is a Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. He is the embodiment of the whole universe itself, and for him I am my prostrations. And the Yoga Vasistha, we said, it is because of the viveka I am able to recognize. Viveka means the discriminative intellect. I am able to recognize, while still in that state, what is real and what's not real. It's a glory of the appropriate discriminative intellect, and there we said he glorifies the intellect viveka itself. And ayamahamidam agatam ameti spuritam apasya balada satyamantaha ripumati balinam mano nihitya prashama upaimi namostute viveka. So here in this sloka, a viveka itself is glorified, and we have namaste, oh my salutations to that, to the viveka itself. Who is doing? The one who has a viveka. So essentially it is a glorification of the nature of the reality because of which I am able to know. So in the Viveka Chudamani, after realization, student glorifies his teacher. Because of your grace, I am able to know. Able to know what? That there is no teacher. Because what is there is only Brahman. There is no difference between a teacher and the student, and because of that teaching only, I am prostrating. I am really grateful to you. So it's essentially the elimination of the teacher. That's what essentially he learned. Because elimination of what? Elimination of apparent reality that I assume is only recognized, and the absolute reality is negated. Now we go to the sloka 2 of this 18th chapter. Arjayitva kilan arthan bhogana proti pushkalan nahi sarva parityagam antarena sukhi bhaved together. Arjayitva kilan arthan bhogana proti pushkalam nahi sarva parityagam antarena sukhi bhaved. Arjayitva, so after acquiring akilan, all arthan, the sense objects, bhogan and enjoyments. So after acquiring everything in this world, apnoti attains pushkalan in abundance, nahi, not indeed. So say, I want this, we are going after all the objects in the world. Even if one gets all the objects in the world, still there will be longing for it, because the whole world that you see is only 1/3 of the 1/4 of the total the nature of the absolute. In other words, that's what the vibhuti of the whatever I see is. So ekona vimshati. So it is a one padam only, 1/4 of the totality that is there, and there is a 3/4, and that is beyond atyatishta sangulam. So this it is untouched by that which is not untouched. Tashangulam means 10 inches above. 10 inches means it is untouched by that. It is more glorious than what I am seeing here. So the happiness that one gets by fulfilling all the objects in the world that one has, that's what essentially considered as one manushyanandaha. One manushyananda is unit of one happiness, is where a fellow owns the whole universe created, whole world, and young enough obviously to enjoy all the sense objects, and his happiness that he gets is only one unit. He is still unhappy because he says that there are other Gandharvas and everybody else more than 100 times more than his happiness. So there is an inadequacy still, because he is not infinite. He is only locally he knows he has everything, but not absolutely. Therefore, he is still unhappy. Nai sarva parityagam antarena sukhi bhavet. But one who has renounced everything and he has completely evolved in the sense. So here the sage talks about in a way that Nahi sarva parityagi antarena sukhi bhavet. The one who has renounced everything, renounce means what? Renounce any ownership of anything. So he doesn't say this is mine, that is mine, this is mine. Things come and things go because of he is completely infinite. So he has no criteria of any objects or any enjoyments, because he is absolutely aham brahmasmi. So I don't need, or he doesn't need anything for him to be happy. In fact, any of this other happiness is always problematic, because whenever I depend on something other than myself, then it's a bondage only. So whatever happiness that I get from the sense objects will have always a problem, and it's called, there are 3 fundamental defects called doshatrayam. One is the very longing for it itself becomes a dukkha mishritatvam. The one problem is it is always mixed with sorrow. No sukham, no absolute sukham, because every happiness is mixed with unhappiness. How can that be? Because it's a struggle to get it, struggle to maintain it, and again struggle so that nobody loses it. So every object, sense object that I depend on, so I had to acquire it. So there is a force in order to get it. That means I have to get rid of certain things in order to get this. So if I want first class in the university, in the examination, I have to give up all other things and concentrate only on the education. So there is always I have to eliminate certain things in order to get this. Same way, if any freedom involves the renunciation of something else in order to acquire this. So if to enter into a marriage to be happy, I had to discard my bachelorhood. So whatever the bachelorhood happiness there, I had to reject that now and take up the grihasthashram. So in every entering in something, I had to renounce something. That's why it's called dukkha mishritatvam. It's always mixed with that. So if anything, if I depend on something, then there is a struggle to get it, struggle to maintain it, and struggle to if I lose it. I want wealth so that I can be happy. Prosperity and all that is based on how much of wealth I have. So I have to struggle hard to get wealth, and since everybody is looking for the same wealth, then I have to maintain it and struggle to maintain it to make sure that nobody takes it away. And the third problem is, and I'll start crying if somebody steals, because they also want the same wealth that I have taken. So it's a problem in all the three, in getting it, in maintaining it, or if I lose it. That's called dukkha mishritatvam. And even if I get what I want, still I am not getting complete infinite, because any action, any process to get it is always finite. So what I get is also finite, and finite will not give you infinite happiness. So there is always asantruptikaram. There is always a mind which is still longing for something more. And that's what happens. We see in everything, I want more, I want more, I want, never satisfied. Even if I have billions of things, I still want some more. And that is the endless pursuit, because I cannot stop unless I get infinity. And you cannot get infinity by any process, because infinite is not some object to get it. So I cannot get what I want, and I cannot stop trying to get it. So this is a struggle of all human beings until one kicks the bucket. So dukkha mishritatvam, asantruptikaram, and finally bondage also, bandhakatvam. So any dependence on something other than myself for my happiness, it is a slavery only, because I depend on something that I have no control on, and if it is there I am happy, if it is not there I am happy, and I became slave to it. And including, say, a good hot cup of morning Madras coffee, I become a slave to it. If I don't get it, I become restless. That means I become a bondage. It became a bondage. Essentially it becomes a vasanas, where I have to go after fulfilling all the time. First thing in the morning, I have to run around where I can get a good hot cup of Madras coffee. That's what is bandhakatvam is. So all doshastrayams, the dukkha mishritatvam, asantruptikaram, bandhakatvam, is there in all the objective related or sense object related happiness that one gets. But one who has renounced, in the sense, one who has recognized that I am Brahmasmi, that means one who has realized the truth, then it doesn't matter with because every object is also him only. So he is neither an aversion nor a longing for it. If it comes, okay. If it doesn't come also, it's okay. For him, he is sarva parityagam antarena. So he has given up even the notion of giving up, because I don't own it anything, or I own everything, because in me I am the only support of everything, and I am the essence of everything. So there is nothing I lack for me, because everything is me only. So it is sukhi bhavet. He really enjoys the sukham, the happiness, and in this case it's not happiness that he gets by fulfilling any desire, but happiness by understanding I am Brahmasmi, because that is the nature of happiness. The Ananda Swarupam, that is intrinsic nature, is being happy. So take sloka 3. Kartavya dukkhamartanda, kartavya dukkhamartanda, jvala dagdhantaratmanaha, jvala dagdhantaratmanaha, kruta praveshamapi yusha, kruta prashamapi yusha, dharasara mrute sukham, dharasara mrute sukham. Together. Kartavya dukkhamartanda, jvala dagdhantaratmanaha, krutaha prasamapi yusha, dharasara mrute sukham. Kartavya dukkhamartanda, jvala dagdhantara atmanaha. So for whom the inner equipments has been scorched by the heat of the sun of sorrows of his deeds. So the one who has burned out all his vasanas. So kartavya dukkha martanda jwaladagdha antara atmanaha is only beautifying in a simile that one whose inner equipments, what are the inner equipments? The antakaranam, the mind and intellect. So which one he burned out? Not the mind and intellect per se, but the mind that is longing for, that is desiring for this object, that object. That means the one and mind that feels it's inadequate as it is, and it becomes only adequate with this, with this, with this. So one mind which is running after sense objects. So that mind, that longing mind aspect is burned out. So what remains now is mind, pure mind, which is agitationless and which remains calm and quiet, and no more longing for I want this, I want this. That is what is called Jwala Dagda Antara Atmanaha. And Kruta Prashamayusha. So Prashama Piyusha Dhara. Krutaha, where is Prashama Piyusha Dhara Saramrute? Except in the continuous shower of the ambrosia of desirelessness, where is Sukham, happiness? So where is the happiness other than that I do not have a desire in the mind that is completely contented. There is no more desires in the mind that I want this, I want this, I want this, because it has, that longing mind has been burned out. So longing mind means the vasanas that are there in the mind has been exhausted or sublimated. Sublimated is the right word. You cannot exhaust all the vasanas, but make them just like you remove the fangs of the serpent. Then the serpent cannot do anything, and it becomes a bhushanam now. That's what is Pannaka Bhushana. Pannaka Bhushana is all the fangs of that is removed, so it is only decorative, but not hurt anybody. And that's what essentially a sage, that whose desires or mind is completely free from vasanas. So the more vasanas, more agitations in the mind, and more desires, and more running around for I want this object, I want that object, and it's a rat race. People go after one object or other object continuously, morning to evening, and every day, every week, every year, running after these sense objects, and that mind is contented by its own self. It doesn't need any object for it to be happy. It's happy as I am. So one which is Sotriyasya Kamaya Tasya, the one who is Sotriya, that means one who understood that there is no reality to the plurality, and there is no more delusion, and that is Sotriyaha. And Sotriyaha, then which is Akamayaha. Therefore there is no more desire for possessing I want this, I want this, I want this, because it is already understood that all this has no happiness there. Happiness comes from your own self. So if happiness is coming from my own self, why should I go and look for happiness outside? Because when there is no happiness outside at all. This is a simple discrimination. Because everybody is looking for happiness only. At the same time, we are going after objects where they don't have happiness. So, but hey, I am getting happy with this, with that. Why do you say there is no happiness? Says you are getting happiness not from this or this, but happiness comes from your own self. When you got that, the mind is no more longing in those moments, and you are tapping your own happiness in those, but attributing to the object out there. So you have a wrong understanding that object is bringing happiness. What objecting is bringing is that a mind, conducive or contented mind. So that's why all happiness is coming from your own self. not from the object. So Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Are Maitreyi says this is the husband teaching the wife, nobody really loves anybody or any object. What they love is only happiness, and they attribute the love for the object is because the object is bringing happiness. Therefore, I love this object, I love that object. The other third object is not bringing happiness, in fact it is bringing misery, so I hate that object. All that is because of my wrong understanding that the object is bringing happiness. What the object is doing is, I am a longing mind, agitated mind, that I want this, I want this, I want this. When I get that object that I am desiring, then the mind is now serene and calm, and there is no more agitations. In that calm, serene mind, Ananda gets reflected, and the reflected happiness is attributed to the happiness that I get from the object. The more agitations, the more quietness of the intensity of longing, and once it gets satisfied, lot more happiness also. So all happiness that I get through objective happiness is only reflection of my own happiness. So if I have my own happiness, that's what Vedanta teaches, that's what the logic also tells you, and that's what Anubhavam also experience, that happiness I'm only tapping from myself only. At the same time, we are running after that. But once you understood it, then you don't go after it. So he is considered as a sage, and that's what Taittiriya Upanishad says. So Triyasya akamaya tasya, the one who is understood and therefore no more desires is also happy, equally happy as much as the other guy with the objects. In fact, he is more happy because he doesn't depend on them. So that is essentially the happiness here. So krutaha prashamapiyusha dhara asaramrute sukham. So when there is a continuous desirelessness or a mind free from agitations, that sukhi, that happiness is what essentially the one a Mahatma enjoys. With that we stop here and continue with sloka 4 in the next talk. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi